Okay, folks, so get ready for this. Because today we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of a phrase that you probably use all the time, but maybe haven't really thought about too much.
Yeah.
Call on.
You got it.
We're working from a podcast script for this one, which I got to say is a pretty cool way to learn about language.
That is, it's very meta.
Right. Like we're using a podcast script to analyze language as it's used in a podcast.
Exactly.
It's like a deep dive within a deep dive.
We love it.
I know, right? And call-ons. It's a word or a phrase, I guess. It's like a chameleon. It changes its colors depending on how you use it.
And it's a great analogy because it can be so many things. It can be a really simple request or it can be like a forceful demand.
Absolutely. Like think about when a teacher calls on a student in class.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. They want to know if the student knows the answer.
Yeah.
But it's also about way more than that, right?
So much more it's about.
Controlling the classroom, keeping everyone engaged, and also kind of like showing who's in charge.
It's that power dynamic.
Totally. Oh, man. I still remember back in middle school when Mrs. Thompson would do that thing where she'd like scan the room.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for a victim, a volunteer.
Right. A willing participant.
Yeah. To answer the question. And my stomach would just drop.
You just hope she wouldn't make eye contact.
It was terrifying, but also kind of exciting. You know?
What's that?
Like maybe this is my chance.
Yeah.
To shine.
Yeah. That's so funny because even outside of the classroom, that same kind of authority that comes with call on, it sticks around.
It really does. It's like imagine you're in a courtroom and you hear a lawyer say, I call on the witness and tell the truth.
Ooh. Chills. Yeah, it's a formal request, but there's this weight behind it, this power.
It's a demand disguised as a request.
Exactly. They're not just asking nicely. They're like, you have to speak and you have to tell the truth.
Exactly. It's compelling them to do something.
Wow. It really makes you think about how much power language can have.
Right. Like we use it to influence each other all the time.
Yeah.
Without even realizing it.
Sometimes we do it intentionally and sometimes it's unconscious.
So true. And speaking of influence, call on can also be used in a totally different way. It can be about visiting someone.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But it's not just any visit. It's a very specific kind of visit.
It is. It has a certain formality to it.
It's like saying, I'm planning to call in my aunt this weekend.
There you go.
It just sounds fancier than just saying, I'm going to visit my aunt.
Doesn't it?
It does. It's like,
you're
going to put on your best clothes and have tea and biscuits and maybe discuss the latest news or gossip.
It's a special occasion.
Right. It's not just like popping in for 5 minutes to borrow a cup of sugar.
Exactly. It's more intentional.
And you know what I think is interesting?
What's that?
It's like call on in this sense.
Yeah.
It feels kind of old fashioned.
It does have that old timey feel.
But it's not totally gone. You still hear it sometimes.
You do. And I think it's nice that it's stuck around.
I agree. It's like a little reminder of a time when things were maybe a bit more formal, a bit more polite.
A little more elegant, perhaps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But call on can also be about rallying support. Like when a charity calls on the community to donate.
That's another important usage.
Yeah. It's not just asking for help. It's like a public plea.
It is. It's saying, we need you. We need everyone to come together and support this cause. It's powerful stuff.
It is. And it often comes with this sense of urgency. Like time is running out. We need to act now.
Absolutely.
Like think about those ads you see. You know the ones where they show images of a disaster zone or people in need. And the voiceover says, we're calling on all citizens to help.
It tugs at the heartstrings.
It does. It makes you feel like you have to do something to be part of the solution.
That's the goal, right?
Right. It's like that feeling you get from those old wartime posters. You know the ones with Uncle Sam pointing his finger at you.
I want you.
Exactly. I want you for the U.S. Army. There's that same call to duty, that sense that everyone needs to step up.
It's a powerful rhetorical device.
And it can get even more intense, right?
Absolutely.
When call on is used to demand action. Like when citizens call on the government to address climate change.
That's a good example.
It's not just a suggestion. It's like, we're not asking anymore. We're telling you this needs to happen.
It's a call for change.
And there's often this sense of frustration or impatience behind it. Like you've been ignoring us.
Right.
But now we're not going to be silent.
Right. It's like we've tried asking nicely.
It's powerful. It's amazing how one little phrase can be so polite
Mm.
and so forceful,
Mm.
depending on how you use it.
That's the beauty of language, I guess.
But it's really interesting.
It's that.
You can also call on something within yourself.
Oh, you mean like
Yeah,
Right.
your inner strength, your
Yes.
courage.
exactly?
Like she had to call on all her courage
Yeah,
to face the crowd.
that's a perfect example.
But it's like we all have these inner resources,
Mm.
these qualities that we can tap into when we need them. We just have to know how to call on them.
It's like having a toolbox.
Yes, an inner toolbox.
Yeah.
Full of amazing tools. But sometimes it's hard to know which tool to use or even how to use it.
That's true. Finding the right tool for the job can be tough.
I feel like I'm always calling on my patience these days,
I hear you.
especially living in a big city. It's like a constant test
Yeah.
of your patience.
It can be. It can be.
So it's a really cool, that
But-
call on
Yeah.
can also be about this inner journey.
It's a reminder that we have the strength within ourselves.
Yeah. It's like a reminder that we're more powerful than we realize.
Absolutely. And just recognizing those moments when you need to call on a certain quality, whether it's patience or resilience or even a sense of humor. That's a huge step toward self-awareness.
It's like you're becoming more in tune with yourself.
Exactly.
I got to say, this deep dive has been really eye-opening. Call on. It's way more than, it's just a simple phrase, just like a window into all these different aspects
Yeah.
of language and communication and even
Yeah.
our own inner world.
It really highlights how language is so much more than just words.
It's true. It's about how we use those words
Yeah.
to convey meaning and to connect with each other
And to understand ourselves better.
and to understand ourselves better. So as you go about your day, I want you to listen for call on. Pay attention to how it's being used in different situations and think about all the different meanings that it can have.
That's a fun little challenge.
It is. And here's a final thought to leave you with. We live in a world with a lot of challenges.
That's for sure.
So I want you to think about what qualities
Yeah.
do we need to be calling on, both individually
Mm.
and as a society, to create positive change?
That's a great question to ponder.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
Until next time.
Happy exploring.